Welcome back. This is actually going to be the last of the Sleep Good series, which has been really good because, I've never done a series this long before. I did a previous one for love languages, but this one has definitely been the longest. And I think it's been the most informative, at least for not only me in a personal sense, but I think also for other people. Whereas the previous one was about relationships, this one has been about sleep, which is, kind of paramount to everything in life when it comes to, good relationships, good working life, and just good everything really comes down to good sleep. Now, there's only a few more points I really want to talk about. There's two that we'll go through really quickly, and then I'm going to kind of give you a quick cheat sheet, or, the 12 really quick ways or good sleeping behavior habits that you can kind of note down and, try and implement in your own life, and just start to see kind of the benefits. We've talked a lot about the benefits, so I won't really go over too many of them in this video, just because, you've got 9 other videos you can use for that, so don't worry about it. But yeah, let's get right down to it. So the first thing is sleeping pills, and I had mentioned it, or at least alluded to it, last episode, which the issue with it is that they aren't particularly good at what they do because they're mainly a sedative. So yeah, it will put you down, but you're not going to be getting the high quality, sleep that you really need. And the additional issue is it normally, or it can, in a lot of people, create next day grogginess. And obviously the amount varies from person to person and dosage to dosage, and just how people's, individual bodies react to the drugs. But next day grogginess can kind of cause a lot of issues for you and set up bad behavior habits, because it might get you to then lean on caffeine, which, as we've talked about in multiple episodes of this series, we all know the negative effects that can have on your sleep patterns and your sleep behavior. So it's not really something you want to kind of go down that path. And then a counter to that, where new research, and according off the book that this guy's written, and also the new research he's bringing forward and kind of mentioning, there is an alternative to sleeping pills, which is actually turning out to be potentially much better, or more effective and less of the negative side effects as opposed to sleeping pills. And what it's called is cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it kind of revolves around, shifting your behavior in a conscious manner to be able to, improve your sleep a bit, your sleeping habits and your ability to fall asleep. Now, we've covered a lot of stuff that would probably, if you went to a sleep therapist, which is part of the CBTI program, you'd actually have a consultation with a sleep therapist where they'll go through all the motions. But we've covered kind of a lot of stuff that I'd imagine they'd also cover there. So you might not actually have to go out and, get a sleep therapist. If you can afford it, then by all means. But these videos are free, and that's kind of also what I've tried to do as well, is provide all the information I can to, make it almost like a free service. Obviously, you wouldn't be getting the, personally tailor-made sleep program and, one-on-one consultation time, but it's the best I can do, really. And yeah, so with the CBTI, what happens is, you get a sleep consultant who kind of goes through your daily life and your habits, and also, your sleeping environment, stuff like that. And they make suggestions and ways to improve things. And based off, the things we've talked about, I've been doing a lot, I've been trying to find new ways to implement the knowledge that I've learned through reading this book into my own life. So what I do now is I actually have one of these, those face mask things, because the amount of light that gets into my room at night it's not super bright, but it's bright enough where you wouldn't define it as dark, because there's, I think a bunch of overhanging lights a few hundred meters away, and just the general light pollution kind of just bleeds in, where it's a couple shades too bright for me. And I end up turning away from the window, because I can't sleep towards the window because for whatever reason the light is just too much. So I got one of those face masks, those night face masks that you put on to block out any kind of light. And I found that just even that simple method or technique has greatly improved the ability for me to fall asleep, because even if I open my eyes while, I'm trying to fall asleep, I'm not getting hit with that extra bit of light pollution. It's just completely pitch black. And so in the end, I just inevitably close my eyes again, and it just eventually I'll fall to sleep. So yeah, so that's just some of the things that something like a sleep therapist and a CBTI program might offer. But as the last point for this video and the last point for this whole series, I thought what we do is, at the back of the book, he has a little appendix here for us, which kind of goes through what he calls the 12 tips for healthy sleep. And I thought this would be a great little way that we could kind of quickly fire off some things that if you'd missed all the other videos, we can just go through these ones and, without needing to know all the reasoning and research and knowledge behind it, you can know that these are the things that you should be doing. So number 1, stick to a strict sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. As creatures of habits, people have a hard time adjusting to changes in sleep patterns. Yeah, it's true. People have a hard time changing their behavior in anything. Sleeping later on weekends won't fully make up for the lack of sleep during the week and will make it harder to wake up early on Monday morning. Yeah, I know that pain. Number 2, exercise is great, but not too late in the day. Try to exercise at least 30 minutes on most days, but no later than 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. So don't get your heart rate going and get all big gym session just before you're about to go to sleep, because you're going to struggle with that because you got all the adrenaline going. Number 3, avoid caffeine and nicotine. Both caffeine and nicotine are stimulants, and therefore they kind of keep you awake. And also nicotine's even worse because you tend to wake up earlier in the morning because of nicotine withdrawal. Yep. Avoid alcoholic drinks before bed. Having a nightcap or alcoholic beverage before sleep may help you relax, but robs you of your REM sleep, which is that kind of high quality dreaming sleep that you really need. And what does it also say? Heavy alcohol ingestion also may contribute to impairment in breathing, so sleep apnea. Yeah, so that might also be a problem if you're a heavy drinker. It might be causing you to snore and get sleep apnea. Number 5, avoid large meals and beverages late at night. A light snack is okay, but a meal can cause indigestion, which interferes with sleep. What's the other ones? Drinking too many fluids at night can cause frequent awakenings to urinate. Yeah, that's something I've got to work on, because I tend to drink like a large bottle of water before, maybe like a 600 milliliter of water before I go to bed, maybe like 20 minutes before I go to bed. So that's something I think I need to change, because I do wake up in the night to go to the bathroom. It's not like 2 or 3 times a night, but it could be, once every 2 nights. And, as we've talked about before, it's that continuous sleep going for that whole 7-8 hours is really such an important component. If possible, avoid medicines that delay or disrupt your sleep. Yep, so I think, that's an if possible one. Like if you got medicines that you need for heart pain or something like that or blood pressure, then you've kind of got no choice. But you got 11 other choices that you can make here. So if that's not the one you can use, then it's all good. Don't take naps after 3 p.m. Naps can help make up for lost sleep, but late afternoon naps can make it harder to fall asleep at night. Yeah, I've known that as well. I remember sometimes when you're really sleep deprived because maybe you stayed up really late the night before, and then you decide to have a nap at 4 to 5, maybe 5 to 6 or something. And then when you try to go to bed at 10 or 11 that night, even though it was that 1 hour, it makes it almost impossible to go to bed. But so yeah, and 100% actually, now that I think about it, in my high school days, that was my problem. I'd wake up and I'd get through school, and sometimes I don't even know how I survived school, because I was probably sleep deprived that whole entire time. I would get home at 4 and then sleep for 2 to 3 hours. And then, yeah, as you can imagine, couldn't get to sleep from that point onwards. But then just a side note about that, young people, especially teenagers, they actually naturally wake up later and go to sleep later. That's actually part of their the changing in sleep cycles as you age. When you're in your teenage years, you actually go to bed later. And that's the stupid reason. And so that's the reason why, starting school at 8 or 7:30 is really stupid, because teenagers' bodies aren't actually accustomed to waking up before that time. They should be getting up around about 8 or 8:30. And, maybe school starts at 9:30, but that's just the way it is in a lot of places. So number 8, relax before bed. Don't overschedule your day so that no time is left for unwinding. A relaxing activity such as reading or listening to music should be part of your bedtime ritual. For me, mine is brushing my teeth. I like to do that just before I go to bed, and I guess just chill with my dog for a bit and just give it pats and hugs and stuff like that. Number 9, take a hot bath before bed. The drop in body temperature after getting out of the bath may help you feel sleepy, and the bath can help you relax and slow down so you're more ready to sleep. So that's another part of like the ritual kind of things for your bedtime. Number 10, dark bedroom, cool bedroom, gadget-free bedroom. I think all of those are pretty self-explanatory. Last 2, have the right sunlight exposure. Okay, let's read this one. Daylight is key to regulating sleep patterns. Try to get outside in natural sunlight for at least 30 minutes each day. If possible, wake up with the sun or use very bright lights in the morning. Sleep experts recommend that if you have problems falling asleep, you should get an hour of exposure to morning sunlight and turn down the lights before bedtime. Okay, so you need to like blast yourself with a bit of sun or lighting in the morning and then dim it down when you get to the evening and nighttime so that your body can adjust to that natural day-night cycle. And last one, number 12, don't lie in bed awake. If you find yourself staying awake in bed for more than 20 minutes, or if you're starting to feel anxious or worried, get up and do some relaxing activity until you feel sleepy. The anxiety of not being able to sleep can make it harder to fall asleep. And I think we've all probably, experienced that where like, it is the worst feeling when you've got something important the next day, right? Like, and let's say it's early in the morning, because normally it is always early in the morning, and you try to fall asleep, but for whatever reason, like let's say you had to go to bed early, right? Because you had to get up early, and you end up lying in the bed for like 30, 40 minutes. I swear the most the worst it's been for me was like 2 hours. I swear I was lying in bed for 2 hours, and it's just like it racks your brain because the entire time you're just like, you should be asleep because you need to get up early because you got something important to do, but yet you can't fall asleep. And then every minute that passes by, you're like frantically thinking in the back of your mind, like, that's another minute of sleep I've lost, and that's another minute that is gonna do me in tomorrow, and oh god, that can tear you apart. So yeah, follow the advice. If you can't fall asleep in 20 minutes, get up and do something relaxing. Maybe read something for 5-10 minutes until you start feeling sleepy again, and then go back to bed. Look, that's about it. Like, I think that can top off this whole kind of series, and I'm really happy that the way it's come out. I think if you go through all the different episodes, I think you'll get a fairly good idea of the kind of mechanisms and triggers of sleep, and also the things to look out for or stay away from, things like we said, alcohol, caffeine, and nicotine. But I think those are just generally good things to stay away from, all three of those. Not just for sleep, just for your body in general. But yeah, I've had a really good time doing this. I've learnt a lot, and I think I've been trying my best and slowly implementing some of this stuff one by one. And I will say it does definitely help. And getting that better sleep also just kind of is universally good when it comes to just managing all the other different functions of your life. Because if you're tired, juggling responsibilities just becomes so much more tedious and really frustrating. Like, even things that wouldn't normally piss you off, or small delays or whatever, or interruptions and things that were like, yeah, they're annoying, but whatever. When you're sleep deprived and not in a good sleep pattern, stuff like that can just send you insane. And then you blow up at someone and they go, sorry about that, didn't mean to be a problem. But it's not really a problem, but it's just you're not in the right mindset, because the reality is you haven't slept enough, so you're just not operating at the right headspace. Well, that's it for the series. I'll be back next week with some new stuff, and I think it'll be good because we've been doing this for quite a while, so now we'll get to do new stuff week to week, which I think will be interesting. So I'll see you then. Like and subscribe, and thanks so much.